Y'all ever seen Thanos get his balls bit? I just saw it, and I don't know what I am. A power scaling video. Star Rail edition. Eon edition, no less. I wonder how our first run-in with an actual Eon will go. And yeah, no, by the way, Dominican Republic here was supposed to be the embodiment of Sheep. It doesn't count. Not doing it for me. We all know it's Sunday in there. I want to speak to an Eon. By the way, free my bro Sunday, man. He ain't doing nothing wrong. Free my mans. Surely our first time meeting with an Eon won't be when we fight in a nook. If Pom Pom got to, at the bare minimum meet 2 of them, surely we could meet some along the way. But of the potential Eons we could meet, who's the strongest? And that's what we're going to try and decide here with the 5 strongest Eons by lore. And I won't lie, strongest in this context doesn't really, hold as much weight as it normally would in a video like this. What we really should be asking ourselves is who's the most powerful, because when we're dealing with powers as grand as these, raw strength alone is trivial. Eons are an interesting bunch. The xianzhou have divided them into 3 groups, starting with the Arbiters, quotes, determining mortal births and deaths which are highly connected to the rise and fall of civilizations. Then there's the Sacrosancts, difficult to predict as good or evil, often unable to even know where they head for. And then, finally, there's the Authors of Calamity, the main culprit behind all disasters. Avoid or be annihilated. So while on paper, the Authors of Calamity sound like they'd be stronger than like a fucking sacrosanct due to their penchant for destruction, that is absolutely not an assumption we can make. Jeffrey Dahmer has brought a lot of destruction into the world, but you'd be hard-pressed to find someone make the case he's stronger or more powerful than an elephant. And another thing to keep in mind is, in general, the broader path Eons are just more powerful than the more narrow ones. This is something we have been told. So don't believe me? Ask Enna the Order. Okay, that's enough context, I think. Let's start to ranking. And by the way, if you hover through the timeline to read the names, you are a fucking cheater. A filthy, no-good cheater. Oh, Anyway, starting at number 5, I put the Rainbow Arbiter, Lawn of the Hunt, which is an interesting choice. Lawn is an interesting Eon. Motherfucker loves fighting, man. They love to fight. Born of this weird hate for the abundance, Lawn spends a lot of its time nuking worlds with any denizens of xianzhou, never minding whether Hunt's Pathstriders get caught in the cross. Quote, how would you describe the Eon of the Hunt? We can get an impression from Zhuangge Observation Station reports. In the Amber Era 2131, the Astronomical Observation System detected a gravitational wave, a spatial disturbance, left by an entity traveling too fast to be measured and covering astronomical distances. Shortly thereafter, a flash of light cleaved apart the sky, leaving behind abnormal rainbow-colored traces. Half a unit of system time later, the entirety of the planet of Zhuangge imploded. Keep in mind, it's also stated, quote, Zhuangge was destroyed by Lawn's Lux arrow 62 light-years away. If a system unit is an hour, and this arrow took half that to reach the planet, so 30 minutes, that means this arrow managed to cover 365 billion miles, and that it was moving at 730 billion miles an hour, which would have made this arrow over 1,000,000 times faster than the speed of light. There is no counterplay to this, my nigga. I do not care. This is... for this alone, he's at 5. Or they, whatever the fuck. I don't even need to look at anything else. The biggest thing holding back the Rainbow Arbiter, which is why I said this is an interesting choice, is because the Hunt's path is just too narrow. Welt straight up tells us this, but bro, the nigga fired an arrow that can move so quick. Bro, it doesn't matter at this point, bro. How? You can't lose a fight like this. There's probably another Eon who's in 5th place, but dude, that math is insane, is it not, man? Anyway, in 4th place, I put the Amber Lord Qlipoth, one of the oldest Eons, and probably second to veracity. Don't let the IBC propaganda fool you. Old Rock Daddy, when not fighting in an Aeonic war, morphs into Bob the Builder and spends all of their time constructing a wall. A great, big, magnificent wall. A wall that serves the dual purpose of keeping us in and them out. We all know who I'm talking about, and it's those goddamn no good. That's right, no good leviathans. Quotes, the builder of the celestial comet's wall, the subspace crystalline barrier, and the great attractor base. Followers call them the Amber Lord, one of the oldest and most tenacious eons having survived the Dusk Wars. Aware of the imminence of their mortal enemies devouring, the Amber Lord forged a powerful light-years-long seal that would isolate and protect the living worlds. Yeah, so keep in mind, a light-years-long seal is what I'm keying in on here. This is unfortunately a very vague statement. I wish they'd just give us a minimum number here, but yeah, whatever. I'll just toss in 1,000, because, why not? Let's say this wall is 1,000 light-years long. Qlipoth is 2158 Amber Eras old, meaning they are anywhere from 164 to 517,000 years old. Let's just take the halfway point and say they're 340,000 years old. If we assume from birth it's been non-stop building the wall, and this wall is 1,000 light years across, that gives us an average of around 0.002 light years per year. Keep in mind a light year is about 5.8 trillion miles, which means per year Qlipoth has been putting in about 17.2 million miles of wall. Per day, that's around 47,000 miles, and per hour, that's around 2,000 miles. And every fucking minute, that is 32 miles of wall he's building. So, bro's, he's booking it, man. And honestly, 1,000 might be underselling it, given massively, might I add, given they are trying to encircle entire worlds. But we aren't given a number, and I don't know, 1,000's like a nice whole numbers. If there's one thing the Amber Lord is known for, it's their indifference. Despite trying to isolate worlds, their most zealous followers have done the complete opposite. Globalization, I love a drug, ain't it, fellas? With no reaction from Qlipoth. In all of recorded history, there's been one instance in which Qlipoth grew angry. Nearing the end of the Swarm disaster, when Qlipoth was hammering Tayzzyronth out of existence, it was said, quote, "The scene is a mind-blowing one. The suns are abnormal, as they are more in number and higher in temperature than normal. You discover that the giant's hammer has conjured up a storm of rage." Qlipoth's anger was giving way to a storm of rage, causing more stars to appear than normal. And these stars were hotter than normal. Hell hath no fury, I'm telling you, man. Also, can we just... Bro, Qlipoth was stomping out to Tayzzyronth with a hammer like he was a member of the cartel. Y'all ever seen... No. Moving on to number 3. We speak of the devil, and he shall appear. It's Tayzzyronth, the Sand King. Nick Cannon here is an Eon who presided over the path of propagation, and all they really wanted to do is grow, because Tayzzyronth was lonely. Now you might be going, oh, that's it? You were just lonely? Let me tell you why Tayzzyronth was lonely. Tayzzyronth was lonely because of humanity. You see, Tayzzyronth was once an insect on a thriving planet until humanity came and wiped out everything there, leaving poor little Tayzzyronth all lonely. So lonely, in fact, it became an Eon, and once it ascended, it decided it will never become lonely again. Humanity did this. Humanity's pride, humanity's vanity, humanity's greed. Run from it, dread it, in a completely different universe. Our beloved sustainer of heavenly principles was right. Tayzzyronth is best known for the Swarm disaster that engulfed more than half the universe, and it took the combined efforts of like 5 eons to kill them. And even their end is not a permanent one, as despite Qlipoth just... they remain in Amber and can return at any time, and Fushuen is well aware of this, as is HooH. Quote, "According to the scholar, such horrors have not completely disappeared. The Imperator Insectorum's descendants remains, and they could return at any moment. This scholar once showed me his collection, a dull yellow piece of amber with moving flecks and a buzzing tremor. I was absolutely gobsmacked to hear him say that this is a part of the Imperator Insectorum's prison cell. The amnesia implanted in my forehead could not see the future of this item, which only serves to corroborate the scholar's claims. All I can do is pray in silence to the rainbow that such a day will not come soon." HooH also has her own thoughts regarding Tayzzyronth's return, stating, "Some classified intelligence has left me suspicious that Tayzzyronth may eventually resurface. As for the likelihood, that's difficult to gauge. All I'm saying is Firefly better... Hey, tee the fuck up. You down 0-1. Gotta even the score." Although it's kind of tapped, man. The Swarm, they don't believe in running the ones. They will gangbang you. We just want to grow. Join the family. Okay, with 3 done, the rest of the Aeons on this list don't really, exert themselves in as physical a manner as these ones, but you'll see why they are more powerful than the others. Take the second strongest Aeon, Terminus of finality. If there is one word that can be used to describe Terminus, it's omniscient. They could very well be considered all-knowing given their past is this universe's future, and they are currently traveling into our past. They know everything that will happen, and thanks to our past being recorded, they also know their future, and they are currently headed towards it. They represent finality, which brings an end to everything. Quote, finality causes amber to rupture, immortality to wither, music to mute, light's arrows to dim, the dark sun to be reduced to ashes, and the tavern to be covered in dust. Even destruction itself cannot be spared from destruction. However, while finality is an end to everything, it's not the end to everything, as eventually everything goes on to the next finality. Last video, I likened finality to chapters in a book. The end of one finality is like reaching the end of the chapter. Now, if the book in this case is the universe, then it never ends, which is why HooH of equilibrium is in the number 1 spot. Quote, the chain of karma that mortals obsess over is nothing but a rough approximation of the complicated topology behind all things. HooH dissolve their will into the web of logic behind the universe's movement, maintaining the balance and stability of all things in perpetuity. Adventurous mortals tirelessly seek out flaws in this system, believing their intellect to be superior to that of an Aeon. However, little could they imagine that they have already been reduced to strings inside a surveillance system, unable to escape the meticulous network woven by HooH! This is HooH's universe, and we're all living in it. But not all of us. Existing outside this list as it does in-game at the number 0 spot is Aha of elation. Because how can you best something that knows it and everything else doesn't exist?
To you, my dear audience, I dedicate my performance. I wonder, did I bring a little more joy into your lives?
To you, my dear audience, I dedicate this performance. I wonder, did it bring a little more elation into your lives? If it didn't,
You should kill yourself.